A few minutes ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation officially announced that Russian troops had liberated 2 more settlements in the Kursk direction of the front. In particular, we are talking about such settlements as Uspenovka and Borki. Thus, as of September 17, 2024, Russian troops have already liberated 15 settlements in the Kursk region, forcing the Ukrainian army units to leave their positions chaotically. At the same time, it is worth noting that war correspondents reported on the liberation of the villages of Borki and Uspenovka by Russian troops on September 14. According to them, fighters of the Ossetian Battalion Sarmat, the Special Detachment Arbat, the Wild Division of Donbass, and fighters of the 382nd Battalion of the 810th Marine Brigade took part in the liberation of these settlements. Unfortunately, there is still no new information for the battles for the settlement of Lyubimovka. Unfortunately, as of September 17, 2024, the war correspondents were unable to publish any new information regarding the situation in the village of Lyubimovka. The only available information about the ongoing fighting for this village dates back to September 15, 2024. According to this information, Russian troops managed to break through the defenses of the Ukrainian army and entered the western part of Lyubimovka. Moreover, on September 15, information also appeared that Russian troops managed to break through the defenses of the Ukrainian army in Olgovka and enter this village from the northwest. War correspondents also commented on the fighting in the settlements of Medvezia and Veseloy, where the Ukrainian army units tried to break through the defenses of Russian troops and go behind enemy lines, to attack the advancing Russian army in the back. So, according to well-known military journalist and expert Yuri Podolyaka, Russian troops managed to completely dislodge the Ukrainian army units from these villages. According to him, the Ukrainian army is rapidly retreating, trying to gain a foothold in such settlements as Obukovka and Novyi Put. However, due to the enormous pressure from the Russian troops, Ukrainian soldiers are unable to build an effective line of defense in these villages. Yuri Podolyaka noted that the Ukrainian army is not only rapidly losing its positions in the Kursk region, but is also suffering heavy losses in manpower and equipment. According to him, all this has already harmed the combat capability of the armed forces of Ukraine. It is reported that if the Ukrainian High Military Command and its NATO military advisors fail to change the situation on the battlefield, then by the end of 2024, the Ukrainian army will be completely destroyed. Commenting on the situation in the Kursk region, military experts and analysts from numerous Western analytical centers were forced to admit that the Ukrainian army is suffering defeat in this direction of the front. According to them, the situation of the Ukrainian army has deteriorated so much that the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Sersky, began to send the Ukrainian army units to the Kursk region, which held the defense in the Kharkiv direction of the front. All this indicates that due to heavy losses in manpower, the Ukrainian army has almost completely lost its reserves. Western experts are confident that the Russian troops stationed in the Kharkiv direction of the front will refer to this as the window of opportunity, and strengthen their attacking actions against the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. Overall, Western experts admitted that the situation of the Ukrainian army in the Pokrovsk, Kharkiv, and Kursk front directions is simply catastrophic. However, despite this, Vladimir Zelensky continues to demand from General Sersky not only to repel the counteroffensive of Russian troops in the Kursk region, but also to continue the offensive of the Ukrainian army, in order to take control of as much Russian territory as possible. And it seems that Zelensky is ready to sacrifice not only Donbass, but also the Kharkiv region for this. The fact is that, before traveling to the United States, this comic actor needs a so-called beautiful information picture to show his Western masters that the Ukrainian army is still in a position not only to resist, but also to seize territories. However, with his propaganda statements, this comic actor can mislead only ordinary citizens of Western countries, while NATO and Pentagon generals are well aware that the Ukrainian army has suffered a crushing defeat, and that the armed forces of Ukraine are living out their last days. Meanwhile, the commander of Spetsnaz Akhmat, General Apti Yalatinov, officially announced that British and American private military companies took an active part during the Ukrainian army's invasion of the Kursk region. At the same time, he noted that these private military companies included not only former Western military personnel, but also active duty soldiers and officers of the US and British armies. According to General Apti Yalatinov, dozens of British and American PMCs fought on the side of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region, including the well-known American private military company Forward Observation Group. Describing the participation of British and American soldiers in the fighting in the Kursk region, General Apti Yalatinov noted that they do not know how to fight well. American and British soldiers held out in the Kursk region for only a week. They fled Kursk on the 7th day, amid heavy losses in manpower. The Americans and the British were not ready for such a development of events, as they were used to fighting in ideal conditions. British and American soldiers refuse to fight when they see that the enemy is effectively resisting, using the most modern types of weapons, General Apti Yalatinov said. The commander of Spetsnaz Akhmat also added that the military operation of the armed forces of Ukraine in the Kursk region was led by NATO generals. According to him, the NATO warfare tactics turned out to be so unsuccessful that after 20 days of fighting, the Ukrainian High Military Command decided to start copying the tactics of the Russian army in the Kursk region. However, against the backdrop of heavy losses of the Ukrainian army in manpower and equipment, even the refusal of the Ukrainian High Military Command from the NATO warfare tactics will no longer help the armed forces of Ukraine avoid final defeat not only in the Kursk region, but also in the Donbass.